Now, if you're having trouble slicing through a cane and you want to do something more like this one doesn't need any slicing. So if you don't have access to a really sharp knife, or for whatever reason it's not working for you, then this is an alternative to that. So if you choose to do this one, I would start with the Skinner blend, because this one's gonna add more interest to your project. Ooh, and again, I'm gonna work on top of this wax paper, but you would do it on top of your tin foil. So once you have your Skinner blend, which is in one of the previous videos, the next thing is you wanna use coils and little dots and stuff to create a design on it. So for me, I've decided to do white, and I'm gonna add it on like little curlies like this. Keep in mind that when you do this, they do widen out a significant amount. So when you're doing this, you wanna make sure that these are really skinny coils. And if you're having trouble making super skinny coils, sometimes working on a piece of paper, like in your sketchbook, can actually let you get some extra skinny coils. The main thing for this one is just pick colors that look nice together. Try to make it something that you can really have stand out. And you could do stripes, you could do little wavy lines like this. It just kind of depends on what you want. So I'm gonna add one more of these on. Maybe I'll have this one go this way. So I've got these on here. Now once I have these on here, I'm gonna take my extra piece of wax paper, but you could use, like I said, you're gonna use the tin foil. And again, you're just gonna lightly roll it on. So your goal here is just to make sure that it's kind of stuck and that it ends up as the same thickness as your slab. So right now I've got them stuck on there, and I'm gonna take the wax paper off, and I'm just gonna roll straight onto my little coils. Now, if you tried to make a really small coil and then you do this and it ends up being really, really wide and you're like, oh no, that doesn't look like anything, you can always go back in and take your base color and roll an even skinnier coil and lay it over the top. So like this one here, I had a wider coil for the green, and then I had that really skinny coil, and I made another skinny coil out of the blue, and when I layered it over the top, it looked like I had a really skinny coil that went all the way around there. So I've got this now. So now I want to add in some other details. So I've taken another color here, and I've already made some little dots. So I could add little dots in. I could put them in a pattern. I could just scatter them across. It just kind of depends on what you think you like and, you know, what it looks like. So I'm gonna add these ones on like this. And there's all kinds of different stuff. It doesn't have to be exactly the way that I'm doing it. You're just kind of making a pattern that you think looks nice. And then we're gonna flatten it out a little bit. So a lot of times this just takes a little bit of practice and a couple extra times of doing it. So, you know, if your first one, if you roll it and you're like, meh, then just add some more stuff on and roll it again. Because the more stuff you add onto it, the more interesting it ends up looking in the end. So I'm gonna add, I've just got a few little more here. I'm gonna stick some little singles in here too. Like maybe we'll add one more, I don't know, right here. Okay, so now for these ones, I wanna make sure that they're nice and squished on there. I'm gonna skip the wax paper this time, and I'm just gonna roll on the little dots. And you can see it widens them out a lot. So the bigger your dots, the bigger your circle's gonna be. And again, you can layer them and stuff. So if you're like, okay, well that looks all right. And I do recommend cleaning your pencil or whatever you're using as your roller in between each thing. But if you're like, all right, that looks okay. But now I'm gonna take some little black dots, and I've made a bunch of smaller black dots. And I'm gonna add those into the middle here, like this, and that's just going to add another layer of interest. Now I could also add in, you know, I could add in more stripes, I could add in lots of more dots. I'm gonna stick that one over there. I could always layer another color onto this. It just kind of, you know, the possibilities are endless. So be as, you know, creative as you want to be. Make it look really cool. And like I said, none of this stuff is permanent until you bake it. You don't have to worry about it drying out. It's not going to dry out until it's been baked. It's reusable. So if you decide like, you know what, I don't really like this one, then make another one. You can always crumple it up and make a new one. Just know that you're going to end up mixing the colors if you do that. And that's okay. So I've almost got all my dots here. If you decide to do dots like this with dots inside of dots inside of dots and stuff like that, this is one of those where people will get really excited about finding the one that you missed. So, you know, you can always have somebody check it beforehand, or you can just, you know, not worry about it. So we've almost got all the little dots in here. I've got one more left. Oh, two. Nope, we got a couple left. See, I almost missed a whole flower. To me, these look like flowers, so I always call them flowers. Okay, so then same thing, just kind of make sure that they're nice and squished down, and use your roller, your pencil, and go ahead and roll over it. Now at this point, you know, I'm not done with this one. I'm gonna continue adding some more stuff. I could even add on, if I have a cane that I made and I wanna add some slices of a smaller cane that I made, I could even add that on. So if I wanted to add, you know, something like that onto here, I could add that and roll that on, and that would change the look of it also. But I'm gonna continue adding to this one. So this is one of those things, just try it out, see how it goes, see how many things you can layer and how awesome you can make it. So like this one here, I've got the blue background, and then I did some purple, and then a darker purple, and then a white, and then a pink. So I layered several times on this. And when you are done layering and you're happy with it and it looks really nice, then just go ahead and trim off the edges. Use your needle tool, trim off all the excess from the edges, make sure it's nice and square. And then, like I said before, it's your choice whether you bake this or not. It won't be reusable once you bake it, but if you want, you know, a nice little dish, then go ahead and bake it. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day.